Hey, welcome to Fun Friday with Pastor Josh. Fun is something that provides mirth or amusement, enjoyment or playfulness. We're going to talk about what fun looks like today and maybe even get into some fun on this edition of Fun Friday. Hey, welcome to Fun Friday. This has been a whole week recorded at once. I don't usually do that, and I'm being honest with you that we've done that just because I felt like this was one ongoing conversation, and I think it'll tie in at the very end of this today. But it is Fun Friday, so I'm going to do something a little fun with you. I'm going to talk about food today. We could even call it Food Friday. I'm going to talk to you about food. I'm going to, I guess the only reason I'm doing that kind of thing is I just think it's cool for you guys to get to know me a little bit, and feel free to also reciprocate down below. I'd love to hear kind of what your answers are to some of these questions. And so I'm going to give you just something that sounded good. Even maybe it's just today, but this sounds like a good 3-course meal to me. So it just gives you a little insight on what I like, I guess. I love good soups. So if you ever go to Great Falls, you can go to a restaurant called Jaker's. They have all-you-can-eat soup and salad bar, which is actually pretty cheap, and it's really good. I always get the seafood bisque. That's the best one, in my opinion. But if we don't have a good soup, for as far as an appetizer goes, I would do a Caesar salad. I'm not a house salad guy, mostly because it just feels so bland to me. But I do like Caesar salads, so I would do a Caesar salad most likely. And then with my heritage being English, and mostly English and Scottish, Irish, that kind of thing, I've kind of enjoyed doing some of those recipes from that culture. And so our family, we do some of that from time to time. I grew up with corned beef and cabbage. I love that any day of the week as a meal. Oh, I love that. I'm getting actually kind of hungry for it now that we're talking about it. But and then the other one that we do quite a bit as a family is we do what we call bangers and mash, which that's obviously an English word. Basically, it's sausages, like big fat sausages that are grilled or fried, and we do that over mashed potatoes with a caramelized onion gravy, and we just put it all together. Oh man, it's so good. And so I would do that, and then for dessert, like an apple, peach, or strawberry rhubarb cobbler with that, with maybe a scoop of vanilla ice cream on the side would be awesome. That would be my great 3-course meal if I was able to have one right now, which I might just have to go and do that now that I made myself hungry. Maybe these will help us. Here's some wacky foods. Like years ago, I used to teach wilderness survival, and so we would take people out into the wilderness without food or anything, and we'd be with them, and we'd teach them how to fend for themselves, kind of, and just teach them how to survive if they were ever stranded. And so I've eaten some weird things. Like I've eaten rattlesnake, which does not taste like chicken. It tastes more like pork to me, more gristly, and anyway, crickets, larvae. Squirrels, rabbits, fish, obviously, that kind of thing. We've eaten a lot of those different things. It's not nearly as bad as you might think. A lot of it's just mind over matter. But escargot, when I forget what country we were in when we had that, but it was really good, actually, in my opinion. We might have even been on a cruise ship now that I think about it. So I think we were actually over by Mexico. So technically another country, a cruise ship. I guess it wasn't actually a different country, but escargot, it tasted like sauteed mushrooms to me. It was actually pretty good as long as you didn't think about it too much. And then when we were in Africa, we ate what we call agouti. I think some pronounce it agouti. It's like a huge African rat, like a field rat. It wasn't like a gross rat. They usually live out in the fields, not in gross places like sewers and stuff. But I guess there's not much sewer over there, but they don't live in the gutters and whatnot. But and so it's actually a delicacy. We had a missionary who had prepared it for us. And for us and our team, we knew that we were eating it. Our team didn't know we were eating it. And so in Africa, and at least in West Africa, a lot of the food is either over rice or over mashed potatoes. If you're a little bit more up-to-do, I guess, had a little bit better financial resources. That's probably a better way to say that. You had mashed potatoes and whatnot. But then usually you had meat and gravy over top of that. And so maybe I just like meat and gravy. I don't know. But and so they cooked it, and it looked just like strips of beef, and they had it over mashed potatoes, I believe it was. And so we ate it, and we told our team later what they ate, and they at first they were kind of disgusted by it, but then they were like, well, it actually didn't taste bad at all. It just tasted like beef. And so a lot of times it's just the mind over, just how we think about things. Lots of places of the world eat things we'd never eat, but then it doesn't bother them. They don't think much about it. So anyway, so those are some fun things. And then I want to share a cool moment with you as we kind of conclude our week. We watched the football movie Rudy, if you've ever seen that. It's about this young man who, against all odds, wasn't really a football player looking guy, but he wanted to play football for Notre Dame. Everybody said he couldn't, so he worked really, really hard throughout all the movie and spent several years working hard to get on the team. And then he finally got on the practice squad, and he was on the practice squad for a couple of years, and then he finally got to his senior year, and he finally got to suit up and actually go on the field with his team, even on the sidelines with all this gear on his final game as a senior at Notre Dame. It's actually based on a true story. And then finally, the very, very last play, the coach finally puts Rudy in. And so he got to play one play, and he did great. He ended up getting a sack, and it was a huge deal. And they'd already basically won the game by then. They're winning it handily. When I just thought about it, it was just a powerful moment for me. I was almost just really kind of emotional. I get emotional during inspirational movies and stuff. But it was really just a powerful moment because I thought, man, Rudy did all of that for one play. And I just couldn't get over that. All the preparation, all that stuff, all the hard work, all the not giving up, all the determination, everything that he went through was all for the sake of the one play that he had. And that was his moment of fame, so to speak. And I just kept thinking about that, thinking, Lord, am I willing to go through all this work, all this pain, all this preparation, everything, if it's just for one play? Is it worth it? And it is worth it. I believe it is worth it if it's for one person to respond to Christ, if it's for one God moment in somebody's life, if it's for, it was impactful to me to think about the preparation God goes into to use us in a moment. And just a fleeting moment. We're all just a fleeting moment in this life. And yet all this preparation, and God is a God of process, and he's faithful to see it through to completion. And so I was really moved by that. And so and one of the things too in the movie is that the coaches kept telling Rudy, they said, Rudy, if we could put your heart in our football players, we wish we could put it in every single one of our football players, because his heart was so big. And I'm thinking, the whole time, I think that his heart was just getting enlarged for the game and for his dream. And so I wonder and just pray that God would enlarge my heart for what he's calling me to, and for the dream he's putting inside of me, and that he would keep enlarging it, even if it's for that one moment, that one play, that it'd be worth it. And so it's just a powerful moment for me. So I hope that encourages you. Thanks for joining me this week on this kind of a little bit strange week as we kind of went through a long, continuous conversation of sorts. So thanks for joining me this week. Go have some fun today on this fun Friday. Thanks for joining me.